There I go. Hey y'all, hey, welcome to Tootie Toxins. I know it's been a while, and tonight is gonna be real informal, right? We're just gonna go over and talk about some stuff that's going on with the election. I don't have anything loaded up. So just walk with me through the process. Let me make sure that y'all can hear me and see me. Let's see. Yep, there I go. There I go, y'all. I'm there. Make sure y'all can hear and see me, right? Let me go ahead and kick off this intro to put me in a little better mood, okay? Because that song it hits. We ain't gonna go all the way through it, okay? Now, what I want to talk about? I know the election is going on. I know Diddy is going on. What I wanted to, the things we're gonna make sure we get through is the election, the latest at the election, and Lil Durk. I'm from Chicago, so Lil Durk was arrested. I know that happened some days ago. And also Mike Jeffries, the Abercrombie and Fitch. He was the CEO for a while, but I believe he released his position in maybe 2020, 2022, something like that. Anyway, his husband got arrested. He was on that Diddy too, but it was for all boys. Now, you know what? Maybe I'll start with that because what had happened was, yeah. So he's this big CEO, right? And he's homosexual, right? It, and so
You gay. You gay. Johnny gay. You gay.
So he had I want to say his boyfriend. I'm gonna try to pull up the story. I'm trying to recall it from memory. So I may get some of these details wrong. I'm gonna see if I got the story or if I could just pull up the newspaper article. But if I'm not mistaken, what had happened was he was this big CEO, right? Abercrombie and Fitch. Because you know I be messing up words, but you know what I mean, right? So he's over the clothing line, big CEO. He didn't hire, and it's him and his boyfriend. They didn't hire this other guy and gave him a position where he just pretty much just scouting guys. Now they done made it a whole ring, pretty much a prostitution ring, right? So the guy would go get. Let me see if I got it up in here, so I can pull it up. Give me a minute. I'm looking through my emails. So the guy that they done hired will pretty much go get other men. No, this is uh, oh, that's the announcement. So the guy would pretty much go get other men, and the men would sometimes think that that they finna try out, they finna model, they finna get on, but he would have them come into these pretty much freak offs. His version of freak off, it was all males. He would have them come there, get used and abused, and then they wouldn't get no modeling jobs or anything like that. It was pretty much they charged him with the same thing as the ex trafficking because he was flying them. He was flew. They got flued out. He got them flued out, right, and traveling them all across the world. This wasn't just in the U.S. He was over in Europe and everything, and doing these rings. And these guys were saying either that they was, you know, intoxicated, or it was pretty much coercion. They was doing it in the promise of a modeling gig, or because he was such a big person, they felt like they couldn't say no, or they was going to lose their whole career. So I thought I had something. I got the news conference, but we don't need to see the news conference. Let's see if this story. This is MSN, right? MSN.com. See what this will tell you. Oh, okay, because it was a documentary. Abercrombie Guys, The Dark Side of Cool. I'm gonna see if I can find that documentary. And I guess that's what really, piqued the interest for them to investigate him. No, no, no. Let me share my screen so y'all can, so we can get into this article. And the multi-award winning investigation correspondent for BBC News led the multi-part series World of Secrets, the Abercrombie Guys podcast, and a documentary, the Abercrombie Guys, The Dark Side of Cool, that was released last fall. A criminal investigation to Jeffrey, his life partner Matthew Smith, and alleged middleman James Jacobson followed, as well as civil legal actions by some accusers last fall. And after being arrested last week, Jeffrey Smith and Jacob each face one account of S trafficking and 15 account of interstate prostitution. I'm trying to see if they're gonna describe it. Jeffrey pleaded not guilty. Oh, he 80. 80, 71, and 61. These are some old freaks. Oh, he denied any wrongdoing. I'm trying to see if they're gonna describe the whole. Okay, so she stumbled across this story. Who's the lady who was investigated this? She stumbled across this story while investigating something else in the fashion industry. And this model told her about his experience with Jeffrey and how a friend allegedly referred him to this mystery middleman who had apparently. Let me scroll down. Looks like it's frozen. To this mystery middleman who is Jacob, who had apparently no nose and a snakeskin patch over it, she said, referencing to Jacob. The model spoke of having been taken to the Hamptons to this highly organized, elaborate operations where these models in Abercrombie uniform were facilitating these events. What struck her was one of his diary entry that read "F.U. Abercrombie and Fish" and "F.U. Abercrombie Jim." So I felt something had gone on. Paul did not respond to media requests Monday. Another model, David Bradbury, who was also featured in a BBC documentary, was in a courtroom Friday with his husband. I saw Mike Jeffries looking over at them several times. David was staring straight ahead, not looking at anybody. As a millennium, Crawford said she was very familiar with Abercrombie and Fish from growing up. That brand dominated her high school. She then pieced together her own trail, partially through word of mouth by reaching out to hundreds of Abercrombie and Fish models, as well as former household staff of Jeffrey and other people who I have never spoken before. I guess that over 3 years, I built trust with these men who had never come forward, men who had been terrified into silence. They had signed non-disclosure agreement. Many of the men Crawford met identified as heterosexual, and there was a lot of shame in talking about same-sex abuse. In a couple of instances, Crawford was allegedly accused of being a spy for Jeffrey because they thought he had so much money and clout that he was maybe trying to figure out if people was talking. As of Friday, Crawford, a University of Cambridge graduate, had spoken to more than 20 people who allegedly helped organize or attended events for Jeffrey. She also had interviewed Jacobson after tracking him down through some home and property records. He went through lots of different aliases. As we saw from the indictment, he also went by Miss Cook, which was the first time I have heard about that in Todd. Their last meeting was in a coffee shop in August of 2023 when Jacobson allegedly asked Crawford repeatedly to do a deal. He was allegedly telling me, leave my name out, I'll tell you everything. He even put on a bunch of accents trying to be quite charming to dissuade me from publishing. I think he thought I was bluffing at one point. So what she said is the middleman was saying, like, I'll tell on them, but just you know, don't say I see it. Like my name been in it, ain't in it. So I'm gonna tell you what you need to know if you keep my name up out of it. I want to get to the charges. Let me see. Let me see if I can actually pull up the charges for y'all. Mike Jeffrey charges. This one is CNN. So the Abercrombie and Fish washed his hand of former CEO Mike Jeffrey after he was arrested on federal trafficking charges, saying in a Wednesday statement, it's committed to fully cooperate with law enforcement as the legal process continues. As we shared when the accusation was first made public in October 2023, we are appalled and disgusted by the alleged behavior of Mr. Jeffrey, whose employment with Abercrombie and Fish Company ended 10 years ago. For close to a decade, we have successfully transformed our brand culture into value-driven organizations we are today. We have zero tolerance for abuse, harassment, or discrimination of any kind. On Tuesday, Jeffrey, who he was the CEO from 1992 to 2014, along with his partner Matthew Smith and another associate, was arrested on charges of trafficking and interstate prostitution that prosecutors allege happened during his tenure at Abercrombie and Fish. Jeffrey and Smith are accused of coercing aspiring models into acts in exchange for modeling gigs, among others. Many of the victims, at least one of whom was 19-year-old, was financially vulnerable and aspired to become models in the fashion industry. Some of the men they recruited had previously worked at the stores or modeled for the company. Under Jeffrey tenure, the company became known for its actual charge marketing and its effort to market exclusively to kids, perceived as good looking and cool. But the abuse he alleged perpetrated did not become widely known until the BBC published an explosive investigation into his practices last year. Soon after the investigation was published, Jeffrey and the company were sued by men who said he was victimized by the CEO in the 2010s when he was recruited for modeling. Nearly a year later, federal prosecution brought a case against Jeffrey. His attorney, Brian Beaver, told NBC on Tuesday it would respond to the allegations in more details at a later date. The longtime retailer was ousted from Abercrombie in 2014 following a long sales decline. Under the direction of new CEO Fran Howowitz, Abercrombie is now one of the best performing apparel companies in the industry. It has introduced inclusive sizing and jeans that are designed for curvier body and has made it clear in its marketing that it is no longer a single customer from one type of racial background. So what they were saying before, they was just advertising to skinny white people. Now this new CEO that came and they advertising to everybody. But the way that they was describing it, the way that it is in the, I may have that because the indictment is only like 10 pages. But the way they described it in the indictment is that he pretty much had a whole ring set up of men that, he got flued out. It would be big parties. Him and the men would use them until they was done with them. He made them sign non-disclosure agreements, which is why a lot of them didn't come forward, because the amount they would have to pay, none of them could afford. So they didn't come forward, not knowing that non-disclosure agreement, if anything was done illegal, you could talk about it. But they was afraid that he was so big and so powerful that a lot of men just stayed quiet. And because a lot of the men identified as straight, they didn't want to come forward with, same sex pretty much. So it was a big ring that him and his partner had where they would go pick men like flowers and then just put them all up in the room, and they would be forced to stay there sign non-disclosure agreement, do different type of sex act, and then they will release the guys when they finish having a fun with him. So he's in jail. Okay, he's in jail now, y'all. Now let's go through Lil Durk. I'll show y'all a picture of him. Did y'all see this picture of how he looked? Let me show y'all this picture of how he looked before we move on. That's him right there. I said, and you see him through the years. So I don't see that. No, that's what he looked like now. While he in jail, he 80, but I don't see no years where he was decent. That's just my opinion. Let me see. Let's see. I'm gonna show y'all the pictures of how what he done progressed into. Look like that's what he looked younger. This is him right here at 80. This is him look like after he didn't have some facial reconstruction surgery when he was still trying to stay like he was looking young, but it did not work. But that's his 80-year-old self right there that's now in jail. Y'all, let's continue on to Lil Durk. So y'all know with King Von, that King Von had got unalive, right? And so you know that the drama was between King Von and Rondo, right? I be messing up these people's names, but what's another rapper? But it pretty much seemed like King Von and Lil Durk was friends, but it seemed like the beef with Rondo was maybe more between Lil Durk than it was King Von. But you know, if your friend don't like him, you don't like him type of thing. That's what it seemed like. But I could be misinterpreting that situation. But he was out. They got to fighting. You know, firearms went off. Two people actually end up unalive, but King Von was one of them. They had arrested Lil Tim, that they had arrested for King Von unaliving, but they end up dropping all charges on him. Like I think maybe a month later, and so officially King Von unaliving is still unsolved officially in the systems. So the rumor was that initially when the fight happened, they was outside of a hookah lounge, if I'm not mistaken, and there was a police officer who worked at the hookah lounge, and he came out and he was involved in the firearms being discharged. And the rumor that people saying, the allegations is nobody was charged because they believe that it was his firearm who caused the unaliving of King Von, because that will only make sense that if the one they arrested they had on camera that they shown with the firearm, if it should have just took a simple, in my mind, then this is allegedly, in my mind, it will take a simple testing of the firearm. And then if you drop the charges, that would, I'm assuming now, I'm just putting 1+1. You drop the charges, I'm assuming that mean that it didn't match. So people are saying that it was the police officer, and that's why nobody been arrested. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But so after that didn't happen, Quando, was it Quando? Y'all, let me read the article. After that had happened, right? Dirk got to say, like, I ain't finna, I ain't gonna get retaliation. You got to put on the front or whatever, because if something happened, it's gonna come back to you. Now, the other rapper who King Von was fighting when he got on the live, he ended up getting, it's certain words I can't say on YouTube, so I'm trying to place it right. He ended up getting firearms getting discharged at him. And I believe his cousin ended up passing in that situation. He caught a couple, but he didn't pass. if I'm not mistaken. So now why Lil Durk is arrested is they said Lil Durk is the one who hired the people to do this. So he tried to. I'm assuming he was nowhere near if he's smart, and he sent the other people to. And he paid for them to get on planes and stuff to go do it. Now I'm gonna read y'all the article. This is from the Source magazine. Lil Durk arrested and charged with unalive for hire in retaliation of King Von unalive. Federal authorities have arrested Lil Durk in Broward County, Florida, according to ABC Chicago. The rapper born Dirt Banks was arrested by U.S. Marshal. He has no bond. According to report, Dirt unalive for murder was targeting Georgia rapper Quando Rondo, who was involved in an altercation with King Von in 2020 outside of a lounge in Atlanta. Rondo and Von engaged in a fist fight, leading to Rondo affiliate Lou Tim shooting and unaliving Von. Now I told y'all those charges was dropped, but this is what this article is saying. This is the source that I'm reading from. Rondo, who would make light of the situation and highlight King Von unaliving in his music. The arrest of the award-winning rapper comes hours after 5 people was arrested in Chicago and federal charges in California for being contracted to unalive Rondo. In the indictment, unsealed in the U.S. District Court in Los Angeles, was the arrest of Kevon London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan, Lindsay, and Asha Austin. They are charged with conspiracy to commit unalive for murder, committing unalive for murder involving unaliving. Y'all see the words, right? I'm saying a lot of unaliving, but hopefully y'all follow me. And the use of a firearm, automatic firearm, and a violent crime resulting in somebody being unalive. Penalties can reach as high as unalive if convicted. The 5 arrested are associated with the only the family. That's OTF, known in hip hop. Known in hip hop as OTF. Dirt leads the group, which holds Von as a member. Documents show the 5 were paid for their flights in rental cars with the OTF company credit card. They paid for not with the credit card, y'all. No, Jesus, fix it. You can't even. I can't even blame anybody else for y'all getting caught. How you gonna pay for the? How you gonna pay for the rental and thing with somebody else credit card? I mean, with the company credit card. I don't know. Whoever did this is it's your fault, and I'll be up in there telling them this is your fault.
Who fault is it? No. Who fault is it? No.
There, because really, you paid for it with the company credit card. Y'all, do better. Do better. Now, the 5 was apprehended in Chicago and taken to Durkin U.S. Courthouse, where they were remanded to custody before the case moved to Los Angeles. According to the Chicago Tribune, someone part of OTF offered money and lucrative music opportunities in exchange for the unaliving of Quando Rondo. Rondo, his sister and cousin, Shavaya Robinsons, were in an Escalade in West Hollywood in August 2022 when they was shot at, resulting in the death of Robinson, his sister and cousin. So if I'm not mistaken, it was his cousin. Authorities released security footage showing the OTF affiliates attempting to do the fit. The ATF team, led by Grant, ordered a hotel room, bringing several firearms, including one that was altered to be a fully automatic firearm. Grant also rented 2 cars, a white BMW and a white Infiniti, to track and unalive Rondo. Y'all causing attention. go in a ragged car. I wouldn't know because I'm not involved in this lifestyle. But I would assume if I'm going to do so, I'm gonna go in an insuspicious car. I'm gonna go in a car that requires the least amount of attention. Get a Honda. Uh, I'm not giving advice for this stuff, but I'm just saying, you ain't gonna go no BMW, no Infinity. But people like, who is that? Yeah, it was a BMW. I remember because it was white. It had rims and it had them things in the. So footage showed the cars trailing Rondo Escalade and three men discharged a firearm at Rondo and his family. After the shooting, the defendant and the OTF co-conspirator ate at a hamburger restaurant and discussed payment for discharging a firearm. Four of the shooters returned to Chicago the next day. That's Ladar though. This arrest comes after the Dingin Zulu law group filed a lawsuit in Cook County Circuit Court seeking to hold rapper Lil Durk, OTF, and several other music companies accountable for the fatal unaliving of Chicago rapper Carlton Wheatley, known as FBG Duck, on August 4th, 2020. Wheatley was shot outside of a Gold Coast retail store, and the lawsuit also represents two bystanders who were wounded but survived the attack. The lawsuit announced during a news conference by attorney Yayo Dunley Dini Zulu brings multiple charges, including wrongful death, civil conspiracy, negligent, and failure to render aid. The plaintiffs seek damages not only for Wheatley death, but for the injuries suffered by bystander Davon Brinson and Kashay Williams. The suit names additional defendants, including Alamo Records, Sony Music Entertainment, University Music Group, and Enterprise. I don't know if this is the first lawsuit that's going after the music company, because if y'all know, in Chicago, this not like it was the whole Chief Keef era and things where there was a lot of people being unalive due to like rap music. You know, I want to say I'm not going to go into the history of Chicago and rap music because that ain't my thing. That ain't my era. But it was a lot of bodies being dropped, and they was associating with the music. And I'm like, this is smart because it'll be in our community that a lot of our young black men will be dying, and sometimes boys and girls and bystanders and innocent people that will start from, a rap beef. Well, it'll start from within the neighborhood, but if one person into it with, another gang or whatever in the neighborhood, but that person end up making a diss track or whatever that gets on the radio and blah, 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 then these people respond in the neighborhood. So it was a lot of stuff that was happening in the neighborhood and bodies dropping like flies in the neighborhood where the music company was only just getting rich. And y'all know who's in charge of the music company. It ain't many that looks like us. And they getting paid while the neighborhood is falling apart and all these young black men and women and bystanders and kids getting caught up in this mess. So I'm like, that's a good idea, because then maybe you won't be so quick to go get, to put on rappers or to promote the music that you're going to get rich off of, and our community going to be devastated though. So am I. Now, the lawsuit claims that this company profited from the violent rivalry between OTF and FBG Duck by promoting diss track that escalated. Oh, this is what I was all just saying. Maybe I should have read the article before I started talking. Now I'm going to repeat myself. The lawsuit claims that these companies profited from the violent rivalry between OTF and FBG Duck by promoting diss track that escalated tension. It accuses Lil Durk, the head of OTF, and other members of the group, including the late King Von, of orchestrating a campaign of intimidation and violence against FBG Duck, placing a $100,000 bounty on his life. OTF is described as a criminal enterprise that used music and social media to promote gang-related activity. The suit also alleges misconduct by the city of Chicago, claiming police and emergency service failed to promptly aid FBG Duck, who laid alive for over 17 minutes without receiving medical treatment. Yeah, I sue the shit. I remember his mama did come because it was a big thing when he passed because I want to say Lori Lightfoot. Y'all gonna have to fact check this. Lori Lightfoot, I want to say, was the mayor and said something that was discouraging, and when he passed. But I did not know they did not render aid for 17 minutes. You pretty much sat there and let would bleed out. Yeah, so don't you come out there. No, I'm not agreeing with any of the diss track or because it's alleged that I don't know about FBG Duck, but Vaughn, it was alleged that Vaughn had cut bar. He had some things, okay, but I don't agree with any of the violence or any of the situation. But is it? Don't you take an oath that if you see somebody out there, like, don't you have to render aid? Well, in your job, you're supposed to render aid and not just let somebody sit there and bleed out for 17 minutes. 17 minutes is ridiculous. I want to see I wonder how long it took them to get to the scene. Were you actually at the scene and then render aid? But let me continue. Dolce and Gabbana and its security firm are also named for negligence, accused of failing to take adequate safety measures. The lawsuit follows the January conviction of 6 gang members in connection with FPG Duck's death. Federal prosecutors linked the unalivened to a gang war fueled by social media and rap music. So what? They gonna sue the Facebook people? What's his name? Zuckerberg. But yeah, so Lil Durk is in jail, yeah, and I don't think he have a bun, but him and I think what they said 5 other ones. So if they arrested those 5 first, somebody probably was in there snitching. If they arrested, arrested the 5 and then him, somebody gave it up. But yeah, let's continue with the stuff that been going on. Have y'all been following these debates? Not the debates, the latest of what's going on in the presidential election. Hey, Neil, I'm all late with reading your comment. My bad. But have y'all been following the things that's going on in this presidential election? I haven't been on here to talk about it. It's so much to talk about, right? I guess I'll just go to the latest. Did you see the comedian who went and then pretty much told the Hispanics that they over here in this country and they just, having babies? And I mean, he didn't leave nobody out. He talked about Jewish. He did a dig on black people and carving watermelons instead of pumpkins. Then he gonna come to say it's all just comedy. Why is y'all so sensitive, baby? But because of that, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick. But because of that, Bad Bunny, who has millions and millions and millions, like The Rock said, millions and millions of followers, have now endorsed VP Harris, and J-Lo have endorsed VP Harris. And I'm like, I'm happy that they have. But at the same time, why it took y'all this long? Oh, he also called Puerto Rico, because those two are Puerto Ricans. He called Puerto Rico a garbage island. That's what he ended up calling them. But let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up. Comedian at Trump rally, so I can give y'all this little. I'm gonna just go to YouTube. Y'all can listen to a commercial. It's only a couple of seconds. I'm gonna go to YouTube and pull it up because I don't want to go through the whole news story. Those are still the news story. I know doggone well they ain't take it down by now. Take it down this quick. Let me see. This 12 minutes. I don't think we're gonna go through the whole 12. If I can just pull apart.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage comedian, roaster, and host of the Kill Tone.
Madison Square Garden, how we feeling? And with people drinking, not so many babies in the crowd, and people that are obviously only here for Lee Greenwood tonight. I could buy a good pillow, and I took the pillowcase. They do. There's no pulling out.
There it is.
Of America with open arms. And that is where the other candidate worked for 2 decades. And it's absolutely wild to see. And in Texas, stuff is really, really crazy. We're right there by a wide open border. Where are my proud Latinos at tonight? You guys see what I mean? It's
You see that cheering? See if they still gonna be cheering.
wide open. There's so many of them. It's absolutely incredible. Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. Republicans are the party with a good sense of humor. Free speech is under attack, people. I host a show, and each week I get updates what words we're allowed to use. And
I said I wish they would have zoomed in on the Hispanics who's there. Faces. All right, was you laughing? Because it's just
not
comedy,
used
right?
anymore. It's happening right now the past few years. It's a real thing.
I want to listen to his whole 12 minutes. I think he is at the end where he's talking about Puerto Rico, and he just says he do his joke about Israel and the Palestinian people, and it's something about Palestinian people. They need to end the war. They need to end the war between them. Just do rock, paper, and scissors, and you know that the Palestinian people is gonna always pick rocks, and the Israelites are gonna they never gonna let go of paper or something like that. So infer Jewish people being cheap and Palestinian people have nothing but rocks to throw. So he did that, and then he said something about blacks and how there was a black guy in the crowd, and no, me and my black friend just yesterday for Halloween was carving watermelons.
Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
There he is with the Puerto Rico.
And, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Again, normally I don't follow the national anthem, everybody.
So, yeah, that is what the latest with the with the Trump, and what he said, with the Trump comedian, I think his name Tony something. It wasn't even important enough. Tony Hinchcliffe for me to even remember his name. He's not important enough to me. But you also remember that when Puerto Rico had the hurricane that devastated the island, when Trump was president, he went over there and threw like the paper towels and stuff at him. So I don't believe that this come as a big shock. And I believe that this close to election, whoever, it wouldn't even matter how close it was to election. I'm not going to even say this close to election. People who vote for Trump is voting for Trump. I don't care what the men do. Like he previously said years ago, he can go out and unalive somebody in the middle of New York and nothing's going to happen. His followers are going to follow. That's just what it is. Now, did y'all see? Let's talk about the VP Harris and these lit rallies she's been having. First, let me digress a little bit. Let me get on up in here, get comfy. Right. Let me take this off. First, people had a problem with Barack Obama saying to the black men that they need to leave that misogyny stuff alone. And if the reason he was saying it to men, but he was talking to a group of black men. But if the reason that you're not voting for VP Harris is due to your misogyny or not wanting a woman to be controlled, then there's something wrong with you. I didn't see a problem in it. I'm not a black man, but I'm like, first of all, you said you don't like that Democrats aren't speaking directly to you, but it doesn't seem like anybody was speaking out directly. They would say, but to me, Democrats was speaking to the black population. But you felt like that. I have heard, the things going around that they want to be addressed directly. Black men want to be addressed directly, and people was trying to push the narrative that there's droves and droves of black and Latin men that are now voting for Trump, which is absolutely false. Did the number rise? Yes, but it was still 80% of black men was still voting for VP Harris. So, I mean, instead of 6%, maybe it went to 8%, 10% of black men. Like, it wasn't the number that it was inflated or made out to be. The majority of black men were still voting for VP Harris. But this is the rhetoric that's been going on. Now, did y'all see the Lord Jamal? It looked like my signal is fading. Let me make sure y'all can still hear me. Now, Lord Jamal is an old school rapper. Les Nubians, I want to say it's the name of the rap group. He used to do a lot of Vlad TV interviews, but him and Vlad fell out. I don't know if y'all seen it. It was Vlad and the comedian Godfrey and Lord Jamal. They all fell out, and Godfrey and Lord Jamal was telling black people they should not go on Vlad YouTube channel anymore. Now, Lord Jamal went on Godfrey's show and was calling VP Harris bitches. Now, Mark Lamont, it's what I want to say his name is. He have his own podcast. He does pretty much he's a commentator, does news commentator about political views. He's very into the war and does not feel like America should be in the Israel fighting on Israel's side. And that's what he's known for. But I want to say it was Piers Morgan's show. That's the clip that everybody's talking about because they show a clip on Piers Morgan's show where Lord Jamal, of course, again, is calling VP Harris a bitch, right? The Godfrey was way worse. Let me see if they pulled it. If they haven't pulled it, I'll show y'all what he said on Godfrey because that clip ain't going around. I'm quite sure y'all seen the other clip. Now, I'm gonna tell you what's messed up about it. I'm gonna see. So I'm gonna see if I can try to shift through this and find it.
Either way, why is it
in the
collard
tub?
greens? Why are we talking about collard greens?
Because you want to
Talk about
appeal to
vindaloo.
your blackness.
Talk about vindaloo.
Right.
intelligence like that.
Yeah.
And then when I asked you direct questions in debates, and you do your best Muhammad Ali, dodging and dipping questions and all this type of shit. Fuck you. How about that? Fuck you. I'm not fucking with you.
And then
You think
tell
I'm
people,
fucking name?
Black people.
Hey, that's how you say the fucking name. Kamala. That's how you say our fucking name.
my real name is Kala Malavita.
You see?
My real name is Kala Malavita.
That's
Go
your
ahead, what were you
fucking
gonna say?
name.
Black people are the global majority.
Listen,
and the whole point of separating black people of color into different categories is to divide and conquer. It's always been the divide and
now,
conquer.
Cypher, the fact that she's trying to use identity politics to try to, instead of really addressing issues, because the bitch won't answer nothing.
That's not true.
It is true. The whole fucking debate,
That's
the
not
fucking bitch was up there talking about, tell us how we're better off now than 4 years ago. Well, I came up from a middle class.
Now, mind you, you see that. That's I want to say that I know this comedian name is Dante. I believe he's black too, but he is standing up for VP Harris. But you see that that's Godfrey, that's Lord Jamal. Now, man, Lord Jamal is the one who there was a semi-beef, like a beef between him and Eminem. The rapper Eminem. Now, there was a beef because Lord Jamal said that Eminem did not belong. The Eminem was a guest in the House of Hip Hop. And that ended up turning into a beef. And Lord Jamal was like, I never said anything bad about him. I'm just saying that if it's something that blacks created, then if a white person come in, we can't act as if he lived in the house. If you come in, you may be great at it, but you're still a guest. So there was a back and forth. As far as I think Eminem felt offended by what he said. But I said, no, these are these black men over here. And they he and laughing and ha and saying that the lady ain't black, whatever, your personal opinion. Now, I said it was smarter Eminem. If I said, now I would assume he did it on purpose. Y'all have seen him came out for VP Harris at her when she went to Detroit, her Detroit rally. And Eminem came out and Obama recited his rap lyrics. So I was like, I know that he probably like checkmate bitches because you want to tell me that I'm not invited into the black structure, that I am a guest. And you're the first black woman who's running for the president of the United States. Well, I'm sorry, that's not the first one. There's a Shirley. I actually ran for president before her, but this woman who has a chance to be the president of the United States, that you're on podcasts. Not only is it Godfrey, Godfrey's a black man, but he went on Piers Morgan, and they played a clip of him from another podcast. The Piers Morgan, if you've seen Piers Morgan, he's racist to me. Now, you do your own judgment, but you go on this white man show to disrespect this black woman and call her bitches, or they play a clip of you calling her bitches, and there's no and so Eminem, the white man, is at her rally and saying how he's voting for her and putting his support behind her in his home state. Meanwhile, you niggas, ninjas. See, I went on a rant. Bring it back to me. Bring it back. Oh, they're trying to discourage and bring down this lady and disrespect her. You have your opinion, vote for who you vote for, but do you have to be disrespectful while talking about it? Do you have to call her bitches while talking about this? Your whole point was he started off with the she's not black. Then she's not answering questions on the election. Dude, Trump, dude? Like, what? Like, you're holding up to a standard that you're not holding other people up to. So just say, like Obama said, say you don't want to vote for her because you don't want to vote for a woman. But don't make up this shit and then being disrespectful. But to me, Eminem did checkmate to come out and support her in Detroit. And I'm going to show y'all that because I also like the fact. Let's see. Eminem. Yeah, because he introduced Barack.
Do you know what's really fun? Making a website on Wix.
Detroit! What up, though? So look, I wrote down a few things I wanted to say. I love you too. Thank you. I'm here tonight for a couple of important reasons. As most of you know, the city of Detroit and the whole state of Michigan mean a lot to me.
Oh, also, let me just interrupt this too, because you remember that Trump, he was in Detroit and talking about how horrible of a city Detroit was. So that, the people who live in Detroit who's not a Trumper is going to feel some type of way about it. And Eminem from Detroit, proud of his city, and you pretty much calling it a third world country.
And going into this election, the spotlight is on us more than ever, and I think it's important to use your voice. So I'm encouraging everybody to get out and vote, please. I also think that people shouldn't be afraid to express their opinions. And I don't think anyone wants an America where people are worried about retribution or what people will do if you make your opinion known. I think Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld.
And
here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
I have done a lot of rallies, so I don't usually get nervous. But I was feeling some kind of way following Eminem. And I noticed my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on my sweater already, mom's spaghetti. I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop bombs, but I keep on forgetting.
Okay, so then what else is that happened? When VP Harris went to Houston and she was in Texas, Kelly Rowland and Beyonce, they came out and supported her. Michelle Obama came out on the rallies to support her. So I was like, oh, they bringing out the big names. Who else? There was also an instance where Charlamagne the God was on Anderson Cooper's show. That's been this week when he told him that's bullshit. Anderson Cooper was like, no, you didn't. Oh, no, you didn't. But that happened. Oh, with the Lord Jamal. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he came out and apologized. I'm not sure. But you also seen Antonio Brown with the shirt that says Trump versus Trump. And he had the Trump tag had VP Harris, and then Trump was so I guess he's voting for Trump for this year. And like I said, I feel like each person has the right to vote for who you want to vote for. But I don't understand why these black men want to disrespect this woman. Whether you believe I agree that she's a black woman. So why you black men are coming behind to disrespect this black woman, I don't know. But whether she's a black woman or not, what's the need to disrespect? So do you not have political opinions? Do you not have a reason why you're supporting Trump besides that she's a tramp or a bitch according to you? Are there any policies that you're standing behind for him compared to the policies for her? Or no, she's just a bitch and tramp. Do better. And it ain't all black men. Like I said, I want to say it's like 85, 89. It's a high percent of black men who are actually voting for Trump. Voting for Kamala. Kamala. There's a high percent of black men who's actually voting for Kamala. VP Harris, future president, whatever you want to call her, but it won't be tramp a bit. It shouldn't be. Bitch, a tramp. So don't believe the hype. There's not this mass surge of black men. There are some, but there's not this mass surge of black men who's going Republican. A mass majority, over 80%, is voting for VP Harris, y'all. So now, those who are registered to vote, please go out and vote, an early vote, because it is true. I know there's a lot of misinformation out there, but it is true that in the swing states, I want to say at least 5 swing states, Trump is leading. So if you stay in any of those states, Pennsylvania is one. Go out and vote. Now, I already know who I'm voting for. I already voted through the mail, baby. Sent mine in. I already voted for VP Harris. That's who I vote for. But still participate in the vote. Other than that, don't come and complain and have the most people that had the most to say. You ask them, did you vote? They be like, nah. So shut your ass up. Yeah. Let me see. What else do we need to talk about, y'all? Is that it? Let me see. I did the ton. I just went through. Y'all jotted this down right before I got up on here. Trump came out with his new plan, and I knew 8 days before the election, he didn't finally he thought he actually got a plan. He don't no longer have a concept of a plan. He now have a plan. So y'all can look that up if y'all want to. Kamala has always had hers. VP Harris have always had her plan. Has been on her website. I'm assuming both of them on each website. Go to each individual website and look at their plan. I typically go and put in, I look at the statistics and the numbers from the different, and yes, all professionals, all statistics isn't, some people may not believe in it, but I look at the non-biased or bipartisan people, non-party affiliated, who like review the plans and say which one costs more money, which one will work, things of that nature. That's what I did. That's how I made my decision. Y'all go, do y'all. That's me personally. I like the first time home owner credit that she wants to get passed. I like if you have a kid, you get $6,000, even though I ain't have it no more. Do you hear me? No more. But I do feel like that would benefit. I'd like the daycare that they're providing. I like that they brought insulin down for senior citizen. They're trying to bring it down for all people. I like that the insurance that they want for all people. Whatever. I like that the student loans that they're trying to get canceled. This is stuff that I agree with. And this is stuff that's the reason why I'm voting the way I vote. I tell people I vote policy, I don't vote party. And that's what I feel like everyone should do. So I don't know what policies I haven't seen any policies from the other side that I'm like, yeah, I want that. So you're gonna have to this ain't the page if you want to know they policies, because it was concepts of a plan. So I don't know the concepts of a plan. I don't know if they know the concept of it. That ain't my tea, okay? Let me see. I think that is all, y'all. I think we didn't get through it all. How long have I been on here? It's almost been an hour. Don't forget to like the video. Follow me on all social media. Go ahead on fan base. Get some people over there and tell some people about it. That's Isaac Hayes' son social media platform. Get on over there and start going over there and post it and everything. Follow me there too on Tootie Talk Sis. I'm also on all the other social media on Tootie Talk Sis, y'all. Subscribe to this channel. Like the video. I forgot to take my butt to bed because I got to work in the morning on hard. I have to go out there and make that money, and don't let it make you. Yeah, I know I love quoting movies. Where's she at? Where's she at? I don't think I got it up in here no more. But I'm gonna go to bed, y'all. Y'all have a good night. I will catch y'all next time. Bye.